Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker. Lo luk sao lo people belong Wau-Waria this morning. My question without notice is directed to the Minister of Mining. I have several questions that will be for him, and I wish that he could answer. Honorable Anopala, Member for Rico and Minister for Mining. My questions, Mr. Speaker, are very important, so please allow me to give a background to these questions. Mr. Speaker, my office was presented with a petition by the Morobe Goldfields Small Scale Miners Association, which is mostly comprised of mining leases and alluvial mining leaseholders from Bulolo and Wau-Waria district. Mr. Speaker, this petition was also addressed to the good minister as well as the member for Bulolo, Honorable Sam Basil Jr., and the good governor of Morobe, Honorable Luther Wenge, and to the managing director for MRA and the head of Department of Mining. Mr. Speaker, from my perusal of the petition, it is alleged that there is an abuse of exploration licenses by the holders in the Wau-Waria and Bulolo areas. These abuses are perpetrated because of there is a legal leeway that is given to the exploration license holders. Almost 80% of our small-scale miners in Wau-Waria and Bulolo districts are unable to apply for or renew their mining leases because under the Act, the exploration license holder has the power to object to these applications. Thus, the small-scale mining applicants for leases are forced to come to terms with the exploration license holder or lose out. Mr. Speaker, according to the petition, the small miners in Wau-Bulolo generates close to 300 to 400 million annually. In totality, in this country, we are looking at over 1 billion annual generation from the alluvial mining industry. Mr. Speaker, the petition raises 5 main contentions. Firstly, the current exploration license holders are not undertaking exploration activities as prescribed and have failed to meet the approved programs, but have allowed to hold the exploration license for longer periods than the 2 years prescribed by law. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the exploration license holders in the name of exploration are going out and beyond the areas covered by the exploration license and are collecting samples. The exploration license holders are going into wildlife management areas that they may not be covered by the exploration license. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, the current exploration license holders have held the exploration license for a very long period of time with or without renewal. Whichever the case it may be, but it appears that the exploration license holders are using the exploration license to mine, buy and sell gold, because the exploration license holders have the power to object to an application for renewal applications for renewal of an alluvial mining lease. The exploration license holders are taking full advantage and are pressuring the local alluvial miners to sell gold to them. The exploration license holders are forcing alluvial applicants to pay 500 kina and agree to sell gold to them. That was one of the issues raised in the petition. Mr. Speaker, fourthly, the warden areas for exploration licenses have not been held and are not held in the certain central areas. Finally, Mr. Speaker, it is believed that exploration license holders are not providing exploration reports to MRA within the given tenement period. Now to my questions, Mr. Speaker. My first question to the good minister is this. Why do we keep renewing exploration license for some entities who are not and are consistently failing to comply with the license conditions since the first 2 years of its grant. My second question, Mr. Speaker, to the good minister is, could the existing exploration license covering the areas of Mount Kaindi, Wau and Bulolo, areas of Wau-Waria and Bulolo district be reviewed, and if warranted, relinquished and further not granted over these areas where local small-scale miners are intensely working and surveying, as the grant of exploration license will affect them? Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, my third question to the good minister is, can the minister stop granting any new exploration license to areas of Mount Kaindi, Wau, Bulolo valleys, and other areas in Wau-Waria and Bulolo district where local small-scale miners are intensely booming, working and surveying, and the grant of exploration license will affect them? Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to your attention that Wau-Waria and Bulolo since 1920s all come na explorim na digim goli go na olgara or rausim olgara meat bun na gris now bun meat bun na blood or rausim olgara meat also bun also left enough this la house na Mr. Minister long mining put him stop long olgara exploration lo this areas lusimol people blow me lusimol legally people blow me mining this la all areas. I'm concerned blong all people. Na concerned blong me pla. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, this regard to alluvial miners, can the good minister advise this house what is the status of the alluvial mining policy? Finally, and my last question to the minister is, could the minister also advise this house when is he planning to bring the Mining Act review to this floor of Parliament, because the people of Wau-Waria and Bulolo wish to contribute to make some changes to this Mining Act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These are my questions.
Honorable Minister for Mining.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker, Acting Speaker. Thank you for this member for Bulolo, Wau-Waria, for this very long, complex, and very substantive question. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the member for this very important question, and I also want to thank him for giving me a copy of the question before he asked the question. So I'm a little bit prepared to answer his questions, but I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to at least prepare myself to answer your question, because not only your people are listening, but the nation is also listening. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the member's first question, which is, why do we keep renewing the exploration licenses for some entities who are consistently failing to comply with the licensing conditions for the first 2 years of its grant? Mr. Speaker, unless the claims and the questions can be substantiated of abuse, the questions or no grants as tenements compliance are strictly monitored by MRA. Renewal of a tenement follows strict compliance checks by MRA and then cross-examined by MAC before recommendations are made to the Minister. The MRA would undertake independent due diligence should observations by people underground is contrary to the exploration license holders. Mr. Speaker, MRA is one of those organizations where the systems work very well. And I am really privileged to be part of that organization and be the minister for that organization. I'm comfortable with what they are doing, and I'm also very comfortable with the advice they are providing me. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the second question, could the existing explorations licenses cover in the areas of Mount Kaindi, Wau Bulolo Valley, and other areas? be reviewed and relinquished and further not granted over these areas. Minister, the current Act provides sufficiently for coexistence of alluvial mining licenses and exploration licenses. Alluvial mining licenses can exist within an EL and vice versa. Mining license for alluvial mining purposes can also coexist with ELs, provided Section 38 is adhered to, as explained previously. Section 38 of the Act is intentional, as it protects the rights of the EL holder applying for and developing mineral resources within the EL it holds. It would have spent considerable amount of money exploring and identifying resource deposits within the area. It is understood some exploration and mining companies, due to their corporate policies, are reluctant to engage in mining licenses for alluvial purposes as provided by under Section 38. This may be an issue which the regulator should look into and may address through legislative changes. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the third question, which is, can the minister stop granting any new exploration license to the area? Similar answers as provided for question 2. Beside the option of reserving a tenement grant is provided for under Section 7 of the Act. The mining minister can seek legal advice on whether Section 7 reservations can be utilized here to address the request. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the fourth question, which is, what is the status of the alluvial mining policy? Mr. Speaker, the alluvial mining policy was introduced in the last Parliament and was launched during the 2021 Alluvial Mining Conference in Lae. It is now applicable throughout PNG. The Department of Mineral Policy and Geoasset Management has been doing awareness throughout the country on the alluvial mining policy, particularly in areas where the alluvial mining activities are prevalent. The most recent areas awareness was just last week, from the 21 to the 25th November in Bulolo, Morobe province, where a large number of alluvial miners are congregated. It is an ongoing exercise. One of the key factors in the alluvial mining policy is that alluvial mining is now a reserved activity for Papua New Guineans only. All foreigners are barred from undertaking any alluvial mining activity in PNG. Only Papua New Guinea citizens can venture into business of alluvial mining and the export of alluvial gold out of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the fifth and the last question, when am I planning to bring the amendment of the Mining Act to the floor of this Parliament? Let me remind you of the Prime Minister's inaugural speech after his election as Prime Minister in this Parliament. He sounded out a reminder to the mining, oil and gas sector that there will be a new regulatory regime for PNG mining, oil and gas sector in 2025 on PNG's 5th anniversary. In the meantime, a few necessary changes were recently introduced, one of which now makes it compulsory for all mines in PNG to transmit live data in real time from the point of extraction and at the point of shipment to the central hub. For the very first time, this gives greater visibility to the state to assess and value the exploitation of its mineral resources. This is an example of the many good initiatives that are being captured in the revised mining bill that will come before Parliament soon. And I will call upon both sides of the House to support the revised mining bill in the national interest. Thank you very much.